in boundless amounts of green space and we don't always get the most out of it. So the service would be to connect people to where they live, their neighbourhoods, and to each other, and make the most of the green spaces where we live. The users of the service would both be residents, community groups, neighbourhood forums, the local authority, parks and countryside. So quite a degree of different stakeholders would be involved in realising the potential of the places we live in. In terms of the needs of residents and neighbourhoods, there's evidently a need to get out of the house, spend less time in front of the screen, make the most of our wildlife and have freedom and safe environments. In terms of local authorities, there are decreasing funds available for the maintenance and running of spaces, including playground equipment and other sort of physical built environment infrastructure. So we do need to kind of come to terms with that and make more of where we live, but have permission or give permission to each other to take more ownership. In terms of digital services, there's a huge amount of social media campaigning around loving parks. There obviously are the parks themselves. So there's not a lack of information out there, but in terms of that sort of resilient community-led action, I think there's an opportunity there to bring together both top-down and bottom-up approaches to where we live. There will obviously be statutory information regarding parks and green spaces, as well as ownership of land. So when we're talking about green spaces, we're not specifically just talking about parkland managed by local authorities. So there will be challenges around who owns land, who manages it, how do you engage with it, and on what terms. So quite a few restrictions when you start to scratch below the surface. The main stakeholders will be local authority, residents groups, dog wardens, people with a vested interest in bringing to life their green spaces, such as friends of groups. But there are more and more emerging all the time in terms of citizen action, so it's a very fluid space. In terms of Playbox, which is a shipping container, you have to access. First of all, you need to be able to access a space. You need to be able to seek permissions. So in terms of parks policies, you may need to get the permission of 3 ward members. For this particular locality, we have 3 ward members. You need to give plenty of time in which to give parks a chance to respond to your ideas of what you're going to do in the park. So that's just our experience. There are other types of activities which are low impact. You wouldn't need to worry about planning permissions, for example, and if this playbox stays longer than a certain amount of time, it might be considered to be needing a change of use for planning permission. So depending on what you want to do in a green space will very much depend upon some of the barriers that you might have to address, let's say. And one of the biggest challenges for a lot of people is who to contact, how to make the process really easy and get going with doing something quite quickly. A personal but yet societal challenge, I think, is how do we make it easier for everybody, anybody who wants to make the most of where they live, both in terms of accessing information, sharing what they've learned with each other, and making it easier to basically look after and get the most out of the places of potential around them.